I tried hard to find something from this, and it was too late. When I found finally something of this, I had a huge abscess.
What's up guys, Derek, moreplaysmartdates.com. Today we are going to be reacting to a video by Illia Golem Yefimchik official. So the official Illia Golem Yefimchik. I definitely fucking butchered that. I apologize. So anyways, problems after injection, how to avoid an abscess and what to do if it has already happened. So people were telling me there's a pretty gruesome abscess that this guy got, and to react to it, if you've seen, I did a video maybe like 2 years ago at this point, or a year ago, talking about the one really bad injection I had in my quad and why you should never pin your quads. Now, obviously this is a bit of an individual thing. Some people get away scot-free for years and years and years and have no problems whatsoever. And then a significant amount of other individuals will have shots that are so problematic that they're limping around from the post-injection pain to the point that it can be actually inhibiting in the gym, walking to fucking work, like whatever it is you're doing. Like I actually recall on a test and NPP cycle when I was like 21 or 22 or something, I was literally like walking with a fucking stiff bored leg all the way to work just because I had, you know, bad shots in my quads. And it wasn't the result of technique. It wasn't the result of bad gear. It wasn't the result of anything. It's just with quads, some people can't, it just doesn't respond well. And for whatever reason, it's the most problematic spot for having random aberrant occurrences, freak show accidents and shit to happen. So, and this is even with clean gear. So for me, my one bad shot was basically an internal bleeding episode. It wasn't even an infection. It was clean gear, clean shot. Everything was fucking perfect. And then for no reason, my leg just started like bloating up like fucking crazy to the point that it was so big that I couldn't even bend my knee. And I had to wait for the leg to drain itself in order to actually gain back the flexibility in order to actually bend my leg again. It was like the most painful fucking thing ever. And I actually got a little slit in my quad to drain the blood out. There was no abscess from infected shit. There was nothing. It was just like a giant hematoma essentially. And this is the kind of weird shit that sometimes can happen from quad injections. Now, if you get brutal post-injection pain in your glute or your ventral glute or whatever, what happens? Is it going to stop you from fucking walking around? No, it's going to be sore to sit on, but it's not going to stop you from literally functioning in your day-to-day life. So it's baffling to me how many people still like really want to do their quads. Like I can understand maybe if you've run out of shot locations and you're a guy who bangs a fuck ton of gear every week, but most people do not need more than like even rotating between ventral glutes, maybe normal glutes. Like that's all I do, to be honest. And granted, I'm on TRT, so that's a horrible example, but I also do L-Carnitine shots too, which on a frequent basis really adds up when it's like a full milliliter each shot. So actually that is kind of a good example. But anyways, every time I hear of a fuck up, it's almost always quad related when it has nothing to do with like, obviously you can get an infection anywhere if you shoot fucking, you know, water-based something in your arm. Like I've seen a lot of people fuck up with, you know, like Winstrol suspensions and shit. Stuff like that is like the most common infections come from that stuff. But when you have perfect technique, perfect fucking everything, perfect sterility, and then you still have like some weird occurrence, it's typically in a body part in your leg, you know? Like I'm not gonna, like some people pin their fucking calves, obviously stupid in my opinion. Like, you know, I guess if you're trying to go for sight enhancement, you know, do what you will, but it's like one of the most nerve dense areas. Some people will shoot. Well, like, I don't know, like personally, my stance has always been don't shoot an area that if there was a fuck up, you wouldn't care if a piece got cut out of it. So that's why I focus on the ventral glutes, and it's also because the ventral glutes holds the most oil with the least problems at all. You know, it's like painless as fuck. You can load in 3 milliliters with literal ease and not even really have any fucking discomfort other than, you know, obviously injecting is not comfortable, but you know what I mean. So anyways, quads is something I gave up a long time ago after that first incident. And this guy apparently had an actual infection. So obviously it's a bit different than the situation I just outlined, but still, you know, the quads in particular, very fucking problematic in my experience. So let's see what happened to him and see if there's anything that we can take away from it.
Hi guys, long time no see, long time no hear. And what it means that I have some problem, some health issue. Last 2 weeks was horrible for me because I get some abscess in my leg and also in my glute. You know, in our sports, in the bodybuilding, it can happen. It can happen, so you can do nothing. You just need to know how to maintain this situation, how to solve this situation, how to act if it happen, and you need to act really quickly because it's dangerous condition for your life. So now,
yeah, obviously if you have an infection, this isn't something to sit on. You don't like wait to see, like, okay, there's a big difference between guys who don't even know what post-injection pain is though too, and guys who like actually have infections. Because there's some guys who are newbies, they'll pin their first shot, it's a virgin muscle, they get fucking crippled, and they're like, oh my God, like it's infected. No bro, it's not. Or hopefully it's fucking not. But in general, when it's an infection, the signs are typically there in some aspect. And you don't want to wait for it to develop to figure out if it's bad or not. Like, go get your shit sorted, you know? This is something you don't want to sit around on and just hope that, oh, the fucking big red inflamed spot just like goes away. You know, that big fucking giant lump accumulation sticking out of your goddamn muscle, inflamed as fuck. You have like a fever too. Like, this is not something to sit on, you know? And I'm not saying you should wait for it to get to that point. I'm saying that's like your sign that you've fucked up waiting that long. So definitely be proactive about it.
now I'm going to gym to try my first training after my illness. I'm fully recovered and I'm happy about it. But I decided to make some series of videos and talk about topics of roids and topic of injuries and exactly of abscesses. So today's video will be about what happened to me. I will show you these disgusting videos, the surgery. I have it all filmed from the guy. So, and I will tell you what you need to do if it happened to you. I want to share this knowledge with you because you're my buddies, you are my friends, and you just need to know this.
Okay, let's skip through the workout portion. No need to show all that. Let's get to the actual information. I might put them on 1.25 times speed. I feel like my talking is at least this guy on 1.25 times.
I'll show you a receipt in the next upcoming videos. Today's training was really good. I met all the guys. They were really happy to meet me. And we are starting with our journey with a new passion, with a new intensity, and we are following on abscesses. So it can happen for every one of you because we all people who use gear, we are in risk. We are in risk and you really don't know when it can happen to you and what you need to do in this situation. So today I will show you exact protocol, what you need to do, and if you follow this protocol, it's a huge possibility to solve this problem better and avoid huge margin health problems.
So I don't really know what to expect. Is he going to teach us how to do a sterile injection? Is he going to teach us how to fucking swab a goddamn vial? Is he going to teach us which antibiotics we should be using? Like, I don't know what to expect, to be honest. I haven't watched this yet either.
Let's start. For example, in Sunday you made some injection. It doesn't matter if it's oil injection, if it's water-based injection, really doesn't matter. And next day you just realize that something wrong. Swellness, redness, pain, everything of it, and or only one of them, and you feel bad, and you're scared about all of this, and you don't know what to do. So the first step, just pick a marker and try to circle the area of swellness and redness. It helps you in future to track the progress of this problematic area. If it gets better, if it gets bigger, smaller, all of this.
Yeah, it's definitely a good idea. Tracking your progress, see if the thing is getting worse or not. Because in general, if it is an infection, it's not going to just resolve itself. You know, this is something that eventually can lead to sepsis if you just let it sit there.
So it's two options. First option, You just have allergic reaction for compound or for solvent or oil. And if it's really allergic reaction, if it goes in 3-4 days and you don't remember that you had it, in 3-4 days, really.
It is a good point too, because some people are allergic to certain carrier oils, certain solvents. But again, that kind of circles back to like, why are you using UGL gear that has this shit in it? Why are you using ethyl oleate? Why are you using fucking Tren with, what is it, Gaucol or whatever the fuck, you know? Like, you should not have to expose your body. Watch the video that I did with Steve and Leo recently called Your UGL Gear is Killing You. It's kind of like not a total clickbait title, but we talk. Steve in particular is an expert when it comes to carrier oils and inflammatory response to certain carrier oils. So I would highly recommend you watch that through because it's very relevant to your UGL gear. So keep that in mind when it comes to allergic response and shit like that.
But the main point of allergic reaction, that you have some swollenness, you have some redness, you have some pain, but it can go worse each day. If it goes worse each day, we have an abscess. So the second option is abscess, is bacterial abscess. If you have a bacterial abscess, you're really unlucky and you need to act quickly. Second day after you realize that something gone wrong, you just watch your circle, and if you see that it gets bigger, more redness, some heat on the surface, you need to act quickly, you need to do something, and you need to do a compress, the first step. Compress from 3 compounds. These 3 compounds are, the first compound, it's injection dexamethasone. Dexamethasone, it's corticosteroid to really kill all inflammation. It goes really quick, really easy, and it works perfectly. Second, it's Voltarengel. The main compound of Voltarengel is diclofenac. Diclofenac really helps with inflammation, and it's good painkiller too. And the third compound is DMSO. You can buy it on Amazon, you can buy it on the internet.
This is shit I put in my RU58841 to enhance absorption. That's funny.
I also can buy it in Walmart. It was surprising for me. But just be careful, you need to buy 99.9% concentration. It needs to be really concentrated. So the last compound, DMSO, it helps to transfer all your mix deep to the muscles, deep to your abscess. And it's also a good antibacterial compound. So 3 compounds, just mix them. The last one you need to do with water. So you use 50 milligrams of water and 25 milligrams of DMSO, 3 tablespoons of Voltarengel, and 1 ampoule of dexamethasone.
This is a lot different than I was expecting. I thought he was going to be like, get to the fucking ER and get on antibiotics when you have a blatant infection, of course.
All together, use it on a gas squares. Just grab like 10 gas squares to suck all of this liquid, and then put this compress to your problematic place, the place of your injection, soreness and redness. On the top, you need to cover it with wrap and wait 1 hour. Wait 1 hour, and that's all with compress. Along with this compress, you also need to use antibiotics. The complex antibiotic kills all the bacteria in your body, in your abscess, and there are 3 antibiotics. They works exactly on abscesses, and name of these antibiotics I have here.
By the way, this is something that at least a lot of bodybuilders, I'm not saying I would, because, obviously this is something you should run by your doctor, of course, but a lot of bodybuilders proactively, you think as a bodybuilder, what ancillaries do I keep on hand? Oh, maybe I'll have an aromatase inhibitor. Probably shouldn't, but anyways, have a SERM in case I get, gyno, have raloxifene on hand. I'll have, Caber or Prami for, prolactin issues. I'll have, what's another example? I'll have telmisartan as an ARB on hand. Like, ancillaries that are kept on hand to handle some sort of stress induced by exposure to anabolics. What a lot of people don't do, that they end up regretting down the line if they encounter a situation like this, is having on-hand antibiotics. Like having the shit ready to go in case you do encounter this scenario, especially with what's going on right now. It's not super easy to get a quick script for the antibiotic you need in some places. So, it would be wise to be proactive on something like that if you are exposing yourself to risky injections like this.
Forgive me my spelling, I will leave the exact names of these antibiotics in description of this video. It's doxycycline, cefalexin, and azithromycin.
So I'm going to the description. Do not see it, bro. I saw Will Smith, which kind of made me double take for a sec, but no drugs. I guess they're just in the video. So doxycycline, cefalexin, azithromycin.
Doxycycline, cefalexin, and azithromycin. It's very good to have one of them or all of them at home. You don't know where it can happen. So start taking these antibiotics the same day when you did this compress. And that's all. Finally, you did everything to solve this problem. And next day, you need to check it. If it gets better, so less swellness, less redness, but the main point, less pain or no more pain at all. You're lucky you solved the problem. Just take antibiotics 7 days more and you can train in few days. So, problem gone. But in case, if you realize that this place gets worse, so you have some fever, you have no appetite, and you feel really bad, starting feeling really bad, just don't wait and go to hospital. Don't go to doctor. Beware, guys.
This is like the situation where they'd put you on IV antibiotics and like get the shit mainlined into your system right away.
These bacterial abscesses, it's really dangerous thing, and they can grow literally in hours. So then they can affect your health and you can die from it. It's not a joke. You can ask me a reasonable question, why just don't go to hospital the second day you realize that something gone wrong and you realize some problem on your spot. Just simple question. I will answer you. When you go to hospital, to surgeon, every time surgeon will try to open your pocket, your abscess, to drain it, and every time he will do it by cutting your muscle if you have deep abscess. So if you have an option to solve this problem without surgery, it's better. It's way better for you because you can start training, you can back to your training routine in just few days.
Yeah, like obviously if you get a fucking gash cut in you, you're kind of, you're gonna be held up for a bit. Like for me, I had the hematoma, and the reason I had to like beg them to cut a fucking hole in my quad. It wasn't even a hole, it was just like a little slit just to drain the shit out of it. And it was just a backup of like a shit ton of blood, and that was it. And it was like not instant relief, but like significantly very noticeable relief and release of pressure once I had gotten rid of that. Now, of course, I didn't have an abscess, and typically if you had like an actual infection, like I understand what he's saying from like a bodybuilder perspective here. Obviously you should be taking the advice of the ER ideally in this situation, but I do understand what he's saying. So like for me, mine was like a last ditch effort trying to get the fucking thing cut open because they wouldn't do it for me. I was like begging and pleading. I'm like, this shit is not getting better. Like it was getting worse to the point where I was worried it was gonna like fucking break like my kneecaps or some shit. So anyway, that was my situation. A little bit different than this, so it's not totally relatable. And I don't actually have experience personally being in like a hospital setting with an actual bacterial infection that, you know, they're treating. So interesting to hear this shit.
But if you had some surgery, you need to heal your muscles, you need to heal your body properly, and
oh yeah, and like obviously I can relate to having the gash in your fucking leg though, because you know I had the same process of, you know, draining something done, and you know, it's a bitch dealing with a bloody fucking leg that has been cut open, obviously. You know, the amount of additional recovery time is can be significant.
Could be a few weeks or a month, and you will be out of your training. And you know, like surgeons, they really don't care about your bodybuilding. They just need to do their work properly, and that's all. And they don't care how long you will heal. They just do it, and you can go home and heal the time you want. So that's it about abscesses in general, but I need to tell you my story, what happened to me. You know, guys, I'm really sure that if I followed this protocol I mentioned to you before, from the beginning, I really can solve this problem without surgery. But it was so difficult for me because I'm new here and I didn't have all this stuff in my home, so I tried hard to find something from this, and it was too late. When I found finally something of this, I had a huge abscess, so my abscess grows too fast, and in time when I had some antibiotics, some stuff, I just have no option than surgery.
Honestly, that's not as bad as I've seen. I've seen some fucking chunks like cut out of dudes before.
I need to say huge thank you.
Like, I'm not underplaying it. I was just like, I was like genuinely concerned for how this guy was describing how much they like don't give a fuck about your bodybuilding. They're gonna like hack you up kind of thing. But it didn't look too bad to me.
To my friend Mike, who did the surgery for me, and also for Dr. James C., who gave me all the medications and all the consultations around my problem. Guys, you really saved my life. I hope all this information will be useful for you guys, because you really don't know when it can happen to you, and you need to know what to do, and you need to follow some protocol, and in this case you can solve this problem with the less blood, with the less health problems, and avoid really major surgeries as I had. So thank you for your attention, big love for you and your families, and see you soon.
All right, cool. Yeah, that was it's something that no one really talks about, to be honest, until even bodybuilders, you don't research it until the shit happens to you, and then you're like, wait, like, what do I do? And especially with what's going on right now, you can imagine how if you're a few days in and you think you have an infection and things are getting dramatically worse, and you're trying to get expedited care with the you-know-what going on, depending on where you live, that can be pretty fucking difficult potentially. So this is why this is even more reason to plan ahead. So, I definitely am on board with the idea of like literally having antibiotics on hand, to be honest. I would, obviously don't abuse them. If you get post-injection pain, if you have, a little bit of swelling from a, bolus from your, too much volume in a shot or some shit, don't go popping antibiotics and like ruining your fucking gut microbiome or destroying it essentially. Trying to thinking you have an infection. It's like the guys who abuse the fuck out of angiogenic peptides and shit just proactively to avoid injury. This kind of stuff, you don't want to over abuse anything unless you're in a situation that kind of calls for it. So I definitely, the stuff he mentioned sound very reasonable to me. Obviously I would, discuss with a doctor who knows about what you're doing ideally and is overseeing your care with high quality oversight and actually knows what the fuck is going on. But yeah, definitely even something I haven't even thought of in fucking years, to be honest. I just hear it brought up. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that happened to my leg this one time. I had the bad shot. Not an infection, but still very relevant the same. And you don't really think, all of a sudden you start frantically researching when it happens to you. But before that, you're like, shit, this wasn't even part of my education process. You learn how steroids work. You learn how to PCT. You learn how to interpret blood work. Actually, most people don't even know how to fucking do that before they take the shit. But let's just say you've thoroughly educated yourself how to do a shot sterile, how to draw out of the fucking vial. A lot of people learn that stuff, but they don't think this far ahead. You know what I mean? So that's definitely a good topic to bring up, and good on Illia Golem for bringing up his own situation as an educational piece of material. Because, a lot of people don't want to admit that they fucked up, and, they're supposed to be, authorities in the industry, good role models who do no wrong and blah, blah, blah. But, could potentially make you look like you don't know what you're doing. So why would I listen to you when you do stuff like this? But having the humbleness in order to come out and talk about you fucking yourself up and what you learned from it in order to help educate the masses, definitely a commendable move. And that was a good video. So definitely check out Illia Golem stuff. He looks like a pretty big bodybuilder, businessman, motivator. He's from 5%. I guess carrying on the legacy of Piana, which is cool. And this guy's a fucking beast for sure. So yeah, definitely check his stuff out, especially if he's publishing. He literally, he's hanging out with Mike O'Hearn here. So this guy is obviously, much different than Mike O'Hearn, that he's willing to talk about the stuff that people don't want to talk about, and even admit when he's fucked himself up very severely from hormones. So definitely a good voice in the industry that, there's not enough of realistically. So anyways, check his stuff out. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, check out my blog, moreplatesmoredates.com. Follow me on Instagram at moreplatesmoredates, Facebook, Snapchat, BitChute, Twitter, TikTok, Apple Podcasts. If you want to support the channel, you can check out anything I'm associated with in the video description below, including my TRT clinic. It's all telemedicine from the comfort of your own home. All the doctors and patient care coordinators I've vetted myself personally represent the same level of information you see presented on this channel, and recommended lab tests and diagnostics, as well as Gorilla Mind, nootropic formulas, Gorilla Mode, pre-workout formulas that design myself from scratch, and anything else I'm associated with. It's all in the video description below. Thank you guys for watching. Talk to you soon.